Welcome. I'm Patrick, havecheetahwillview, 8 questions with, and I had to do a show on Friday.
Welcome.
Hold on.
havecheetahwillview, 8 questions with.
Okay, there's something I forgot to do. Forgot to turn on my sound. So yeah, we had to do a special show on Friday, so I can actually say that I actually did a show, by myself. As you probably are aware, that the Cinema Squad came over and took over my channel and ran things for this week. Um, awesome shows. Super happy they came out to do it. Again, thanks so much to Upside Dan, uh, Sean from Lost in the Reel, and Jace from Bulk. I forgot to ask him about his name too. Berto Rocar. I forgot to ask him about the where that came from. I think he told me once, but I probably had a brain fart and forgot about it. Um, Hi Joshua, how are you? Let me get my screen back up so I can run this puppy. I forgot to turn down my sound, and that's not a pleasant thing when you're trying to do a live stream. So let me fix that. There I am. I'm back. Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for the best wishes. Thank you, Joshua. So we will be talking to filmmaker and artist Colinda Bongers in about 15 minutes or so. And this is a what I would call a grail interview. And a grail interview to me is somebody I wanted to have been trying to get to interview. And you just keep plugging away, and plugging away. And so finally I get a chance to I'm getting a chance to talk to her. Um, and when I first started writing my reviews in my blog. Oh, you got rain? Man, send it here. Send it to Michigan. Yeah, we need it. Um, when I started doing my reviews on my blog, um, I, I met a gentleman named Ray who ran a company called Art Exploitation Films, and we had a relationship where he would send me movies to watch and review, and then I would do that. And one of the movies that he sent me was this movie from the Netherlands called Molly. And so I watched Molly and absolutely fell in love with it. Fell in love with the directing, fell in love with the star, Julia Baton, Battlein. Um, I just love the movie. I just think it's a kick-ass movie, and um, it's on my blog. It's my second favorite movie still. It's due for a rewatch for many reasons. Molly was actually the first independent film that I watched and reviewed that someone came to my blog and said that they were going to buy and watch the movie based on my review. It was the first time I experienced that, and so I always felt a sense of indebtedness uh, to both these and Colinda. These is I know I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You think I talked to him? I should have just rewatched the interview. Um, but he and Colinda, they co-directed Molly, and then these directed the sequel Kill Mode, and Colinda helped produce it. So Colinda was supposed to be doing a vampire movie. I don't know what happened, so this is one of the many things we're going to be talking to her about. Because one thing we found out when we started talking to, especially talking to filmmakers anywhere over in Europe, and that is how hard it is to uh, to get movies made. It is very hard to get movies made in like in the Netherlands. Um, it really boggles your mind, really. That that it really boggles your mind that it's such a small. I mean, there's great movies to be made, but you can't even get your movies made, and then you can't even get them played in the theater in your own country. Hey, Kaz. Oh yeah, I know. This is gonna be the last weekend. I'm after this. After by the time I come back next Tuesday, this is gonna be all gone, and I'm not gonna be looking like this again. Time to get rid of this. Um, so I watched the movie. Uh, uh, oh my gosh, I'm really embarrassed by this. I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong. What if I just call you the 13th Warrior? Call you Antonio Banderas. Um, so yeah, with these, we talked about how hard it was to get movies made in the Netherlands. I mean, it's already hard to make it, but then when you do make it, um, they won't necessarily play it in the theaters. I mean, they'll play American movies there, but your own home, your own country, it's hard as hell to get the movie on a screen. You have to come across America to get your movie distributed. It's just something inherently wrong with that. Eh, you would think that there'd be enough of a film industry and critical acclaim and actors and craftsmen, directors, crews. You think you would have a thriving little community, and you would be able to get your movies up and on the screens within your homeland at least. It's hard. It's hard for Denmark. I find it's hard in Norway. I've talked to people in Norway and Denmark. It's hard. Sweden, hard. It's not it's not easy if you're a European filmmaker outside of France and Great Britain to get your movies seen on a big screen. You can get them made in other countries, like Ireland does a lot of filmmaking, but it's hard to get them on the big screen. And part of that is quite honestly, it's like that over here in America too. A lot of small art house films. It used to be quite easy. You used to have art house films and niche films, and no problem. Your movie would get seen on the big screen. But of course now today, those places are fading away. And as far as movies being shown on the big screen, it's there's no such thing as independent film on the big screen anymore. It's just fading away. You got companies like A24. I know I give them guff, but more power to them when they put one of their movies on a screen. When they take it away from Marvel or Universal or Paramount, or more power to them. So and not only that, but think about it. You already have you're a woman in a man's world over in the Netherlands. You already have it hard as it is as a guy, as a male trying to get your movie up. Now imagine trying to do that if you're a woman. It's even harder. It's even harder. So more power and nothing but respect for Colinda for co-directing Molly and for also be able to help produce Kill Mode. Now we will be talking about those two movies. Kill Mode is on Tubi, by the way, and we'll be talking about hopefully, about the trilogy if the trilogy is going to happen. Um, yes, Brendan Fraser, The Whale. Yes, you know what? I'm so happy for him too. I'm so happy for him. Uh, but like we mentioned earlier this week, it was funny because people talk about Brendan Fraser's coming back, and he's been here. They said no, he just watched his movies. Um, I watched him do a movie called The Poison Rose. The Poison Rose. Of course, he's been doing the Doom Patrol for the last 3 years. So it's not like Brendan Fraser just dropped off the planet. He's been here, but you had to look hard to find him. Um, Sort of like European filmmakers. Hard. They're out there making movies, but it's hard for them to be found. Um, yeah, I saw that clip of Brendan Fraser getting that standing ovation for 8 minutes, and he just lost it. Yeah, he still looks good. He still looks good. I know. I saw. I don't know if he gained the weight for the role or not. I know he got. He's definitely. I know he's older or whatnot. But I mean, Other than that, I was thinking, man, he still looks like he could do a mummy movie. You know, I don't know if he's going to go back to the action market, but I'm just glad he's back on doing anything he wants to do. He was blackballed for standing up for sexual harassment. Wow. Yeah, well, that must have been some time because I mean, I know I saw, hey, Cass, I know that I saw him in, like I said, I saw him in a couple of Lionsgate movies, including The Poison Rose. And then I saw him, and he's like I said, he's been doing the last 3 years as Doom Patrol, and he also worked for DC Animation too. Glad you're here, Cass. So Colinda will be here in about another 5 minutes or so. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this is early for me. Obviously, you guys rarely ever see me come out this early. Though it's not unheard of. I definitely have. Anytime I do a interview with any artist from Europe, it's definitely I have to do this early in the afternoon. And I like doing the series live, which is why I don't tape my interviews. Um, Yes, Tom Cruise. That failed because of Tom Cruise. That was totally Tom Cruise's fault. The Mummy failed. That was because he was too much in control. The director that he hired wasn't a director so much as he was just a puppet. I mean, he was a director in name only. Tom Cruise did pretty much the whole direction of the movie. So yeah, that was totally on Tom Cruise. He totally misfired on that, and that's a real shame because we talked about the Dark Universe before. I've talked about that before. They have so much promise that could have really taken off really big. um, I thought Russell Crowe stole that movie. Russell Crowe was amazing in the Mummy. He was the best part about it, by far. um, the first half of the movie was okay. The second half was just a long chase scene with hardly any dialogue, and man, it sucked. What a waste too. I mean, you wasted Annabelle. Yeah, you wasted Annabelle Wallace, who's a terrific actress, and let's see, Sophia Butella. You wasted her, and then of course you wasted Russell Crowe. I wish that if they had really had the cojones for that. Um, they should have just took Russell Crowe and and they should have made some smaller movies. That's one thing they did wrong too. They made a big splash movie, and they should have did smaller movies building up to it. I mean, that's the Avengers template, but it worked. I mean, say what you will about Marvel. The reason why Marvel is where they are now is because they planned it out perfectly. They did all their movies one by one, connected the dots, which Russell Crowe would have been the Samuel Jackson character, and you could have just built it up, and smaller movies, introduced the main characters, and then did one big adventure. Um, yeah, I hope that the Dark Universe will get another crack. I mean, I definitely think there's room for it. As far as that goes. I mean, I didn't understand why Universal pulled the plug on everything. I was confused by that. I was like, well, okay, so that the first one didn't come out, but you learn from your mistakes and then you move forward. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's put our hands together and welcome the lovely Colinda Bongers to Eight Questions with. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, good.
Yes, perfect. Okay, you already know the first question because I'm lazy. But how do I say Theseus' name again?
Thijs.
Dice. So it's like rhymes with vice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going like calling him thief. I'm going like I know I'm wrong, but I'm just doing it anyway because I'm lazy. But thief. I was gonna call him Antonio Banderas. I was just gonna call him that. After the
Hmm.
13th warrior.
Hmm.
You know. Um. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
This has been I mentioned this before. This is what I call a grail interview. This is like, you've been on my who would you like to interview most list. And your name has been on there, for such a long time. When I got the chance to interview Thais, I was just ecstatic, because I love Molly.
Good to hear that. Yeah.
Well, you
Well,
know that. You've been hearing me beating that drum for 2 years, 3 years now, right?
yeah. Yeah.
I'm like a two-man army, with my friend Darnell being the other soldier.
Hmm.
Um, my friend the Bat is here, Al Lucard. I see that he's here. Thank you for coming in. He's my co-host on the Midnight Society.
Ah,
Um,
hi
so
all.
yeah, I was just telling how hard it was, when we talked, um, how hard it was to make movies in the Netherlands. And it's just, it was sort of heartbreaking, to hear that, like when Molly was made. And I'm thinking to myself when that happened, I'm going like, man, that must have been cool, to go out there to downtown, in a city and come up there and see your name, see your movies on the big screen, on the
That was
and then you find out that that never happened.
hmm. Yeah,
um
it is difficult.
and I was thinking, well, he, as hard as he had it, as far as men are having a hard time, it must have been even harder for a woman such as yourself to make inroads. And I hope I'm wrong in saying that, but I have a feeling that I'm not. I have a feeling it's very hard to make movies on many levels, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is, especially in the Netherlands. I think in America it has its own difficulties, but in the Netherlands it's even harder, especially when you make genre movies. If you love sci-fi and horror, and then it's even harder, because we work with a lot of like government subsidies. And so, for instance, one of the things that you need to do or need to have is like your movie has to play in 13 or 8 theaters before you can get the money from the government. But a lot of independent don't have that. And
Yeah.
especially if you, so you need to get an what's it called in English? You need to work together with like a production company that already has those 8 or 13 theater runs with a movie. And but those companies don't want to invest in independent sci-fi genre movies. They want like Dutch things, that are socially
Dramas or romance, and it's like
things
it's
like
funny.
that.
It's funny though, because you know damn well that when you go to the Netherlands and you go to the movies and what do you see out there? Marvel.
Yes,
You know, it's
exactly.
like,
That's the
you
most
know,
frustrating. Yeah, yeah.
you
And
see,
there's so much talent over here, but it doesn't get to blossom.
yeah, it's absolutely, it's like, it's just, does the government see the irony in that? Yeah, we're not going to invest in sci-fi, sci-fi action movies, or horror films. But I talk to you more, but I'm going to go be catching Doctor Strange, or I'm going to go catch the, Get Out or Nope or whatever.
Yep.
It's just like, wow, I'm totally baffled by that.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's not like the government just has a couple of rules, and those movies uh, don't fit that. So the production companies make movies to get those subsidies, and we were just very, very lucky and baffled actually when we. I don't know if Thijs talked how we got to make this movie, but there's a pitch contest. We have this fantastic film festival called Imagine Film Festival, and there's a competition. It's called the pitch contest, and we pitched there. We were able to pitch. That I think we pitched Molly. Oh no, we pitched Kill Mode. But we had Thijs and me. We were just every weekend we had like these little jobs, and every time we had some money in the weekends, we would just start shooting. Mm-hmm. So we had like a lot of material. So when we had to show the sizzle reel, we didn't do a sizzle reel with existing movies, but we made a sizzle reel from material of our own, and it was pretty amazing. And people reacted like, "Did you make that for $300? What can you do with more money?" So we won that contest, and then we went to Montreal to do the genre forum over there, and then Thijs and me were baffled. There's so much more to the movie industry that's over there, that the independent industry, and we didn't know anything about that. And that's how it came about. We just got a sales report because people liked what we did, and then we found a private investor over here.
Yeah. I mean, independent film is still strong here. I don't know how long it will be, because, before you make an independent film here, you film it, you go to, pre-production film, post-production, you score it, you edit it and everything else, and then you start looking for a distributor. Now, a lot of places, it's hard for, a lot of independent movies now are they're not even getting physical releases because it's hard to find a distributor where they can get a good deal because the physical media market is soft.
Yeah,
it's really soft. I think it'll bounce back in a couple of years. I do. Yeah. Well, people. It's funny because I just hear it more and more. It's sort of like a reverse. Before you heard it for streaming as a positive thing. Streaming was, everybody's doing it because it was exciting and new, and you could see all these things on streaming that you couldn't necessarily see on physical media. But now the way physical media streaming is, like they put out a lot of shit.
Exactly, it's narrowing somehow. Yeah.
They're taking away TV shows. They're moving TV shows that people like that used to watch for free. Now they're starting to make people pay for them, and now people are starting to rebel. They're starting to sit there and say, "You know what? Streaming's not exactly my cup of tea." Mm-hmm. And Netflix has lost like 12 million subscribers. I mean, they still got over 200 million, but think about it though. That's the first two quarters in a row that they've shed. They've gotten rid of people. So hopefully what that means for filmmakers is stay the course, make your films, find deals, because people are going to want to. You're going to find somebody's going to make your movie for you. You're going to put it on a physical market. You're going to put it on the market for you.
Keep on going. That's
right. Because I mean, if you make a movie, let's say you spent $20,000 making a movie, and or even $100,000 making a movie, there's no guarantee you're gonna be able to find a place for your movie on streaming. And even then, even if you do, it's gonna be very, very hard to make your money back. Very hard. You might as well just be giving it away because streaming services don't pay anything.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe if you make it for $20,000, then you'll probably do get to earn some money. But more than that, it's a risk.
We were all hoping here. How did the pandemic affect your theaters? How many theaters do you think are in the Netherlands? How many theaters do you think there are?
I think about a couple of hundred, something like that. Maybe 200, but that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Now, do you think there was more before the pandemic or less? or I mean,
Yeah,
is it
I think it's the same because the government really subsidized and helped a lot of theaters and stuff. But
okay? Okay,
but it's still difficult for them to get the money back. And now I think it's better because people are going back into theater, but the public is still a bit scared of Corona, and we're probably getting another wave. So it's going to be very difficult. And even now with the inflation and stuff like that, I mean,
right.
it's it's even harder to just pay like $18 or something to go to theater for a lot of people.
How much is the cost per ticket in the Netherlands to go see a movie
13 to $18, I think. 13.
for one ticket?
Yeah.
Holy shit! It's a lot of money.
Maybe not in like the independent, like where you can get to see documentaries and stuff like that. It's a little bit cheaper, but it's like $13. Yeah, to get to
Yeah,
see a Marvel movie or something.
I mean, I can understand, the reluctance of people spending that kind of money at a theater for a movie they don't, or for an independent feature they don't really know much about. I mean,
Exactly. That's
I can understand that.
those movies don't get to play here.
No.
We mostly have like the big names, and
Mm.
then even then, I even wait for it to show on Netflix or Amazon or something
Sure,
like
sure.
that.
No, a lot of people do that. I wait for new releases. It's I don't get very many of them, but I wait till they hit the library.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Um, so let's go back to the beginning because I want to get your how you got to where you're at, and so obviously you were born and raised in the Netherlands. What city were you born and raised in?
In Zaandam, it's near Amsterdam. Yeah.
Okay. It's a lovely country, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a bit flat. No, we've got beautiful places and beautiful villages, but I love mountains, and have to travel for those.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess the nearest mountains would be France, right? Or
Uh,
Belgium.
Belgium. Yeah,
Bel-
Belgium, maybe the south of Germany. It's only 2 or 3 hours, so I don't get to complain. But you have to cross the border, and
That's a
during
beautiful. That's a really cool thing about Europe, isn't it? I mean, I see people that do this all the time. They'll sit there and say, I'm just going to go down to Italy, or I'm going to go to the Netherlands, or I'm going to go to France," and like within 2 or 3 hours, you could actually be there. You could drive underneath the tunnel, from Great Britain to France, and then from France you cross over to Belgium and the Netherlands. I mean, it's like here. If I wanted to go from Los Angeles to New York,
you
you know
have to travel a
I
lot.
mean,
Yeah,
as far as driving goes, it'd take me like 5 days to drive.
yeah.
And in Europe, it's just like you could get up early in the morning and be in Germany by late afternoon.
Oh, easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's an hour from where I live to the border of Germany or Belgium. Yeah.
So as a young girl, did you travel a lot? Did you go to different? You and your family, did you guys vacation across Europe?
Yes, Germany, France. I've been in Scandinavia for a couple of times. I love those countries. I've lived in London for a while.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, yeah, I've lived
How'd
there.
you like that?
I loved it. I was 20,
Oh,
just graduated, and I just did like a chambermaid job. And
uh-huh.
later on, I worked at Virgin Megastore. I cooked for the employees over there, and just had a lot of fun. I drank a lot, partied a lot. Yeah, what you need to do in those.
No,
Yeah,
no, I can't see you drinking a lot, partying.
not anymore, but I used to when I was over there. Yes,
Hell
yes,
yeah, why not, right? Yes,
exactly. We didn't
I
earn a
mean,
lot of money, so it just went. We just spend it on booze and wigs and stuff like that.
and records. I'm sure you bought your fair share of records from the store.
I definitely did. Yeah.
What kind of music did you listen to when you were growing up?
Okay. Now I know it's a bit difficult to say, but I was a huge, huge fan of Marilyn Manson,
Okay.
and
There- there-
I even got to cook for him while I was working in Virgin, and
Nice.
yeah, he ate my macaroni. I can tell you, and. I don't know. I like a lot of stuff, but I mean, if I have to pick one, I like Metallica, Muse, stuff like that. But then, yeah, I was a huge fan. I remember I was 15 and I was on this festival, and Marilyn Manson came on, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" So yeah, but
Yeah.
now it's gone. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember Theis told me the one story. He told me the story like when they're on set, and that every single time that you came from your, came onto the set, that they had to play Inner Sandman every time you walked on set. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but everybody has like their own ways of like pumping up before a day.
Uh-huh.
Just screaming in the car with some music or something like that. You need to get into the right zone or something.
You did mosh pits.
No, I didn't.
I can tell that already. You have been inside of a mosh pit or two in your time.
Well, maybe, but
Oh yeah, that's what I.
normally I would stand at the side and push people back in.
Mhm. That is so cool. That is cool. I like Marilyn Manson. I think I'm more of a Nine Inch Nails guy myself.
Oh yeah.
But I definitely, Marilyn Manson is definitely trippy. He makes some interesting music for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely see you driving and banging your head to to Metallica.
As loud as we go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
You pictured that
I-
right.
Okay. Here we got our friend Kevin Haunted by Horror. He's dropping lyrics down to Inner Sandman. I should, if I would have known this, I should have had it. If I could have, without YouTube having a conniption with the K, I would have had Inner Sandman as your theme music as you came on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Maybe next time.
Hi, Drew. How are you? Hi, Nanette. How are you? We are talking to film director Colinda Bongers today. She is a filmmaker from the Netherlands, and we are talking about her early rise. And we already know that she's a Metallica fanatic, and she's been in a mosh pit, and she cooked macaroni for Marilyn Manson. See, this is why I love doing the show. This is why I love talking to people like this, because you never know the adventures that other people live, and this is fun. This is a lot of fun. So what was the first time that you became aware of cinema? I mean, because was it more homegrown, like TV shows or movies, or was it something you saw from a foreign film? And do you consider American films foreign films? Are American films considered foreign in the Netherlands, or are they just considered trash?
Well, foreign. I guess if people are saying foreign over here, they mean movies like from Korea it's not. I think somehow we Dutch people belong to America, or American movies belong to us, something like that. So I don't think it's necessarily if it's marketed, then it's not foreign. And let me get back. What did you ask before that? What was my first thing with cinema?
Are American films considered foreign films in the Netherlands?
No, not necessarily. It's not
You
the
know,
only
it's funny
way it's marketed.
because your movies are like if I yeah, I mean if I went and bought Molly, that's considered a foreign film.
Yeah. It probably is. Yeah.
Isn't that something?
It's-
We do have we do have a fun question, and if it goes right into that question I asked you earlier. Drew wants to know what are your top 10 favorite movies of all time? Now,
Top 10. Oh, wow. First thing, just shoot. First things that come to mind. Let me see. It's like Buffalo 66,
nice,
House of Flying Daggers,
nice.
David Lynch stuff, Tim Burton stuff, Kill Bill.
Did you like Hero?
Did I like?
Hero
I haven't seen it.
with Jet Li.
No,
Have you seen that one? Oh, because you mentioned House of Flying Daggers. Man, those movies aren't they just absolutely some of the most beautiful films ever filmed?
exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
just
and
gorgeous.
yeah, those are amazing. I mean, um, if I look at cinema, I think it needs to be on a level that's something I really want to bring when I direct. It needs to be a good story, of course, but also we've got so much history with like beautiful paintings and stuff like that, and we can learn so much from them. That I think every shot or every still should be like a painting. I love movies where everything is like bafflingly beautiful.
I'm gonna do something for the chat here. I'm going to be dropping the trailer for Molly. I want people to take a look at that. So here is the trailer for Me Too, Kevin. Me Too. Hero is awesome. So here's the trailer to the movie that Colinda has co-directed in Molly, and then she produced the sequel, Kill Mode, which we'll come to in a few minutes. Kevin saying the Netherlands are just another state. Like you're like our 52nd state.
Sure, I would love that. Well, maybe not with everything that's going on in your country, but
our country is going to hell.
yeah,
Yeah, our country is going to
pro-abortion
hell.
here, right?
Like it's almost like reversed. Before we went over to save you guys from the grip of fascism and from Hitler, and then all of a sudden it's like now I feel like we gone reverse, and it's like now you guys are gonna have to come over us to rescue us from fascism and the Trumpers. It's
Let's
like
hope we won't get that far.
what do they say? History repeats itself.
Yeah.
Those who don't pay attention.
Mhm.
So yeah, so yeah, I love your choices. Yeah, Kill Bill's fun, very much fun. So what were some of the movies that you watched when you were a youngster, or were you more into music? Were you into movies when you
No,
were
I
growing
was
up?
into movies. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely into movies.
so
Yeah.
like what are some of the early movies? What are some of the who would you think were some of the filmmakers or actors and directors that influenced you into going into cinema?
Well, definitely, I need to say then David Lynch and Tim Burton.
Okay.
Um, and I loved and was scared of Jaws, but it's something that was really, I was like way too young to watch the movie. I was like 10 or something because my parents, it was the early days of, it's called FilmNet. Then you had like 2 channels, and every hour or every 1.5 hour the movie would start, and we were sharing that with our neighbors. So there was like this line going through the windows to the neighbors so we could share it. And I remember like I was 10 or something, I would just sneak down and just watch everything that would come by. So a lot, I can't even remember, but it's like also like Herbie and what's it called? Nine and with Leslie Nielsen, like the 30, 33 and a half or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
The naked
I would just watch everything, but I know I remember Jaws was on it, and like I had nightmares for weeks. But I was also like, "Wow, this is a story that has impact." So
Yeah, I don't think you have great white sharks off your coast.
no, we don't. I'm still scared to swim in the ocean.
I don't. I know in the Mediterranean you have great whites, but not off the coast of like the UK or France or the Netherlands. I don't think you guys. I don't think you guys have any sharks out there. Uh,
No, maybe little ones, but
you
still, I won't swim. I
you,
mean, no.
how far will you go to your ankle?
Yeah, maybe my knee, but then it's and even my son was like this summer. My son was running into the ocean, and then I had to definitely swim after him, and I was like scared as hell. Yeah, but then for your son, you do everything right for your child. So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, at least he, if he knows you, he says, you know what? I know now that I know mom's weakness. Mom, can I get this? Or, come swim with me, Mom. Uh,
Yeah.
I just tell him, I would just tell him, listen, if you go out there, you best have a life jacket because that's what you're gonna have to have. Because I ain't going out there.
Well,
No.
I was baffled. I mean, I was amazed at myself that I was just uh, even the deepest fears you can conquer when it's
Oh yeah,
going.
well you have to definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Let's see. What set of actors would you like to work with on in a movie? I'm going to come to that one. That's a good question. We'll circle back to that. She's already worked with one actress she wanted to work with, definitely. I wish to hell she could break here because I'm sure Thais probably told you. You know, you already know this, but I had such a I had such a mad crush on Julia. She's so cool looking.
Hmm. And
She's
she's an amazing actress.
yes,
Thijs is working on a new movie, and I believe she's in there again. Yeah.
oh, he okay. You know, that was the other thing I was going to say. Is it? Are you guys going to be able to complete the trilogy for Molly, or is it just going to end after this to two?
Well, for now, I have to say it's gonna end,
Okay,
but you never know what the future will bring.
yeah,
But Gilmore just took its toll. So
yeah. That was a rough one, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. We lost financing during post production, or maybe at the end of like shooting, and it was just
And
hell.
you lost your actor. You lost your lead.
We lost our lead.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was. I mean, everything that can go wrong during movie making, we had that with Kill Mode. So I can truly say nothing. Nothing scares me anymore or something because it
no.
was, yeah. And it was especially when I heard we lost him, and Dave was just an amazing man, and you get really sad. And then like half an hour after that, I was like, oh my god, because he was a little bit famous in Netherlands. I was like, oh my god, the press will come at us. So it was like on a Saturday morning, and I called a meeting like 8 in the morning on a Sunday, and then from 10 o'clock, like people were calling us, but I didn't have any experience talking to the press, so it was a new a new experience. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
thinking
so
of that. That's an interesting. That's an interesting thing. Interesting. Have you done interviews like this before? I mean, do you get a chance to interview like this?
yeah, sometimes, but not like not live and with a foreigner.
I mean,
No, not
uh,
with this, not like this. But I've been interviewed a couple of times in the Netherlands. Yeah.
see, I have a question here because, and this goes into the same circle as when you got your start. Our friend Zena is asking, my daughter isn't into acting and filmmaking. She also writes. Any advice you can give her? What advice would you give a young filmmaker? Let's just say her daughter walked up to you and said, Colinda, I want to get into the movies. You know, I want to become a filmmaker. So what would you tell her to do so?
Uh, I would say three things. Just keep on going, but that's an obvious one. It's harder as a woman, especially I believe in the uh,
Yeah.
genre movie making. But it can also be a benefit because people are like intrigued when you say you're like into horror or into sci-fi or something like that. So make sure you have like people around you that um, well, I can give an example. Let me give an example. Thijs is really like a, if we talk to each other, Thijs would be like George Lucas. He wants to come in and then look at like a couple of uh, shots or anything, or drawings or stuff like that, and I would say yes, no, yes, no. But I'm more like a Francis Ford Coppola. It needs to hurt, and it comes from somewhere else. So that was why it worked between us, because we understood each other, and you need to get the space um, to make it the way you want to make it. I need some time. I need on the set. I need some time to think and to feel what I need to make. And if you're surrounded by people who aren't used to that or want you to rush or something, then you're going to make mistakes. And stay true to how you want to make, how your process works and how you want to make those movies, and surround yourself with people who understand that. I would say that, and be curious. Just talk. Don't be scared. Just talk to everybody and be curious and say what you want. Say what your dreams are, and people will it will resonate.
Um, I'll throw my 2 cents on that. I know I'm not necessarily a filmmaker per se, but I did work music, and there's a lot of film. Film operates a lot of ways as music does. And one of the things I would sit there and say, if you want to get into something like that, is to like find a local community theater and volunteer. You know, you go over there, you write. You can write on your own, but as far as seeing how it works, you try to find like a community theater to see how it works as far as working with the team, seeing how the theater is set up, seeing how it's run, and then after that, then you can also look for a small a film company, more hopefully like closer to a major college that has a film department, because they do a lot of short films there, and you can get over there and maybe hook up with a small production company and just cut your teeth. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and those are really easy things you can start to do to get into the business. That's my 2 cents.
Definitely, you just take all the experience that you can get, but it's you need to fight, especially as a woman, I guess, to fight for that position. Otherwise, you get overlooked, and you need to know who you are and why you want to make it and how you want to make it, and then keep on going.
So how did you get your start? I mean, how old were you when you got into, what came first for you, Colinda, as far as film? Were you a writer first, or did you want to write? Did you learn how to operate a camera?
Well,
How did you?
I came into filmmaking a little bit differently. I was an art student. I was studying art, and then we had this course called video installations and stuff like that, and I really liked that. And then I graduated at film school or at art school, and for a year I just wasn't happy. I was painting and doing other things, but I really want to do something with story. I even did a course next to my study at art school in fiction writing. And for me, it's like film is everything together. It's like theater, music, painting, writing, everything, and organizing and technique. And it's just such a challenge, but also it combines all those art forms. And I just decided, let's go to film school and start over again. So that's what I did, and I studied script and directing.
Yeah, I do find it. It's funny because you hear a lot about women directing today and getting into the movies today, but it really is shocking to see just how not long ago that even now it's still hard as hell for a woman to break into it. I was watching a documentary, and this really appalled me. I didn't even this shows you the even visionaries are sometimes have narrow vision, tunnel vision, so to speak. I was watching a documentary about this actress director named Susan Oliver, and she wanted to direct an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Now, she had already been on the old show, and she'd done some things too, and she'd acted, and she wanted to do Star Trek, and she was told that she couldn't do it. She's told no because of the special effects. And Star Trek: The Next Generation was always considered a visionary show because they're talking about topics that apply to all mankind and this and that.
Mhm.
All that hoopla. So they did over 160 episodes of the show, and they only had 2 women directors on the whole damn series.
Wow.
Two. So it really wasn't as visionary as they like to think they were. They
No.
were very, very, very narrow-minded in the bigger scope of things. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I can remember instances where I was just with Thijs getting interviewed or talking to people who were interested in financing or stuff like that, and they would talk to Thijs. They wouldn't even let me answer questions or something like that. You really have to fight for your position. And I was lucky with Thijs next to me because he would say, yeah, she can answer that better, or that's something she brings to the table. So that's what I mean. You need to surround yourself with people who understand you and give you that space.
That's one of the things when I talk to him. I'm going to be honest with you here. It's one of the things I noticed right off the bat when we were talking about the movie. And I was so tickled and so happy, and just it made me feel good because but he absolutely loves and respects you. He loves you as a human being, and he respects you as a director and as a peer. He does. Yeah. I mean, you guys, I mean, Molly is such a freaking awesome movie, and you guys did it so damn well. I mean, you guys, you guys move so seamlessly, and I can actually see the give and take. I can actually see you in your different styles and how it really complemented yourself. Yeah, you're more. I mean, there are some directors that can come out there and snap off those shots. Clint Eastwood is known for that. He's known for just like shoot it, cut it, let's go. And just move. He can shoot a movie in 10 days. And then there's other directors who will take longer and who will do. One of the questions I ask is like, do you storyboard? That's what they'll do. They'll storyboard the whole damn movie so they know what they're doing, and they're very methodical in doing it. They're not rushed. They're not dragging their feet. They're careful and they're cautious. And that's to me, I like a director that's careful and cautious. I mean, there's a time and place for being, off the cuff, but that's when when you're financing your own movie, you could be fast and furious all you want, but when you're moving with somebody else's money, investing, you really do got to you do got to consider being more careful, and being a little bit more. If we need to,
it's not even being careful. It also is, but it's also something maybe it's become because I'm from art school or something, but I need to feel it. I need to feel what the actors are doing and if it's right, and it's not something I can do from the head. I need to get it needs to hurt. It's definitely a tough period for me to be on set, but I can't do anything else. I know my ex-boyfriend was saying, like, the first short movie I did, he said, I won't be with you when you're making a movie. And I was like, yeah, but that's something I love. So yeah, bye.
Yeah, you have to choose me or the movies. Well,
yeah, it's easy.
It was nice knowing you. Yeah. Come see my movie when it hits the theater.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just something I and with my current husband, the first thing I said to him, there's nobody, maybe my son now, but there's nobody I would give this up for. Like, I breathe it. I love being in the zone, but it also hurts because I can't do anything else. My family and my friends are just.
Yeah, but why do you want to do anything else when you're good at what you do? I mean, you're really good at it, so why would you want to do anything else? This is what you are. It's not like, it'd be one thing if you're like, this is what I want to do, but you weren't good, be like, yeah, but you're really good.
No, thank you.
I mean, yeah. So why would anybody want you to stop? I mean,
but you're difficult to live with, right? If you have like 30 days of shooting and you leave everything behind and can't think or speak about anything else, then it's a lot of pressure for some people. But yeah, I mean that's and even in pre-production, and it's just a lot of work, and it consumes you. Let me say it otherwise, it consumes me that's how I want to make. That's the only way I know how to. Actually. So.
How did you and Thies end up meeting? How do you and Thies end up meeting?
Thijs and me,
Uh-huh.
we met at film school. Yeah, and we were in the train going back home every day, and we started talking, and we just clicked. Even now, we are both doing our own things. We still have this energy or something that you just understand each other, and you can discuss like every single shot and have discussions about it and disagree and then understand each other. Yeah, that's rare. You don't meet a lot of people that can really that you can really be that way with. Yeah.
Right. So let's like I know some of it, but I just want to hear from your side, from your perspective, because it's two sides of every story. But let's walk to Molly, and well, I don't think that wasn't your first movie that you did, though. Let's talk about your very first film that you did. Uh, I guess that would be Hybris.
Hybris, yes. Oh yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah, that was my graduation movie. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It
so
was
that was
about.
the first. That was a short film. That's something that was your first thing you did as a director, right? I mean, a short film. What
Yeah,
was
we
it
did
like?
some things at school before that, but this was something I really wanted to make. Yeah, yeah.
Now, you also produced it and you also wrote it. So you were wearing all the hats already.
Yeah.
On your very first project. You were wearing the hats of writer, director, producer.
I
That's a
just like to call the shots. I really do. Yeah, that's true. I did it. I did everything. Yeah. Um, I just that's meant I just want to make it, and if you don't have the right people around you, you just do it yourself, even if it costs you some things.
now
I had
now
to.
when you now when you were making that movie, how many women peers were there that
Well, my
were doing movies at the same time? Was there any woman that you could talk to when you were making your first short? Was there anybody you talked to woman wise that to like what would you do or what choices would you make, or was it all going to talking to males?
Well, there was this other girl who was making fiction movies, but all the other girls were doing documentaries, and she was like way into uh, drama and like poetic movies. So, and I'm really into genre, and I really think it's. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if the story is just straightforward. Um, if it's just beautifully done and you know how to write a story or to tell a story, then it's okay. So no, I didn't have any women to talk to about. No, I really had Thijs and Chris and some other genre fans. Yeah.
Uh, and listen to what she's saying too, and to the folks in the chat. Listen to what she's saying to tell you just how far and how hard she's worked to get where she's at. So all this happened where she's making a movie and she has she's no one in her peer. There's no women peer for her to talk with and communicate with. And that was just only 10 years ago. Only 10 years ago.
10
You're
years. Yeah. It seems
10
like a
years.
long time. So much has
Yeah.
happened in between, but yeah, 10 years. Yeah.
10 years ago, nothing. Isn't that something? And it should have been a lot. You should have had a lot of people to bounce ideas off. And you guys could have had a women's writers group or a women's directors group or all that. You guys should have had that. You guys could have had that. And yet here
We,
it is.
we even
Yeah.
had like at film school, we had difficulties getting our movies made. I don't know if Thijs talked about Magistratus, his project, but and Hybris is also like a magical, realistic, surrealistic horror thing. And the teachers really didn't want you to make it, or it's difficult. You really have to fight. But I think maybe that's a good thing for us, or it has
Mhm.
been a good thing for us, because it was just like we were absolutely convinced that this was the way we wanted to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it made you a better filmmaker.
Yeah, it probably did. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's not,
I mean,
but
it would. I wish it wouldn't. I wish it wouldn't have been to that. I wish it wouldn't. I mean, if I had my way, well, would you rather see a woman come up by herself and fight tooth and nail, or would you like to see her come up with a group of her peers? They can sit around and like males do and just have their own communication and talk and talk about the problems, talk about how to overcome it and give advice to each other. I'd much rather have that for any woman a director, because males have had it for generations. For
Mhm.
women, and especially what makes it even tough is like, while there is a little bit of that over here in America, there's a lot more women directors, whatnot. But even so, they still got to fight tooth and nail for that, to be able to talk to peers, and there's not that many. And especially the more mainstream you get.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I do get contacted sometimes by students or something like that. They want to talk to
let's
me.
see. Lakis is mentioning Slumber Party Massacre remake had a remake director. I mean, as far as a woman remaking it, I would have to go double check that. I don't know who did that, but yeah, female director is Slumber Party. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. She directed the remake. Yeah. You know what though? It's like it's I don't know. It's almost like horror and sci-fi and whatnot. Women seem to have more of a chance to do movies there on that level, more so than other type movies. To me, I'll tell you what makes me laugh. I'll tell you what makes me laugh, and this will make the chat laugh too. But I watch a lot of dramas. We have what we call the Hallmark channel over here, and okay, I don't know if you heard it or not, but you have. So they
Mhm.
make a
I
lot
don't
of
have it.
family films. They make a lot of romance films and whatnot. And I watch them because you can't watch horror and action all the time. But it really amazes me when I go back there and I watch these movies how few women directors are in comparison. I mean, for every 10 movies, there might be one woman director that has done a movie, but nine of them are men. And yet the
No,
storyline and the always focused on women. And
yeah,
yet it's
I
only men can direct it.
I truly believe that has to do with how we are raised. Uh, that what I just said, like it costs you a lot. It costs you your friend. It's not how you're supposed to. It's not how you're supposed to act. You're supposed to be there for your friends and be cuddly and not like this. It just takes a lot. Um, so
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it has more to do with the job than it has to do with like the kind of movies you make or something like that. It's so demanding.
well, I mean, you go back to Molly, and Molly is straight physical movie. There's nobody sitting on their ass during Molly. There's nobody just sitting in their ass and watching it and going like, yeah, cut, action, or whatnot. That movie, that both you and Thies, were on your feet. That's just a physical movie. You could tell a director when they have to get, when they're into it, because of the action.
But I
Not
have
just
to,
sitting,
you
they're
know
not
what?
sitting there. They're not sitting back on the chair sipping tea, calling action. They're out there, because Molly's just 100% adrenaline. It's 100% adrenaline. But
Yeah.
that movie gets up and goes, and the last half hour of it is like one of the best half hour I've ever watched on any movie. It's
Good.
sort of like it's sort of like Bullet on feet, you know.
Mhm.
Like it's just one and that one single take shot for 30 minutes. Oh man, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And let's put it this way. I think the director of House of Flying Daggers, I think he was be sitting there going like this too, like hell yeah, because
Good.
that's how good it is.
Yeah, awesome. And you know what? I was pregnant during the
Yeah, I remember. I
yeah.
remember. I remember you telling me that. But this is what happened. I didn't know what happened after the Molly. I know it came out, and because I knew that. And then when I first actually it was actually the first time I think I asked you to interview with me, and you were actually prepping. You were in pre-production for a vampire movie. You were going to do a vampire movie, and because I actually thought, are you guys going to be doing another? I remember asking you, one, can I do an interview with you, and two, and now it's a written interview, not live. And two is like, is because there's definitely, you could definitely know there's room for a sequel for Molly. And I remember asking you, are you guys gonna be doing a sequel? And then you mentioned that you were prepping to do a vampire movie. What happened?
Well, we didn't get finance, so that's still on the shelf. It was called The Unsound.
I love the title.
But yeah, it had to do with finance, and also like what I said, like Kill Mode took so much that it took us 3 years or maybe 2 years to finish it, and then another year to just pay off everybody, and we had to work to just pay the crew and stuff. So everything else, especially for me, everything, because I was one of the producers, everything else just got on the back seat. You can't do like the end of production of Kill Mode and start a new movie or a new project. I just didn't have the energy for it.
Right. Yeah, that because you had your I think you had your son by the time that Kill Mode went into production. So
Yeah.
you produced instead of co-directing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How hard has it been for you to get traction back? I mean, now because the pandemic then hit too. I mean, the pandemic
Yes.
hit. You know, it hurt. It really did hurt. Kill Mode as far as it getting released. I mean, holy shit! I mean, I didn't. It just didn't. It didn't. You know, like Molly got a really nice release from Art Exploitation, and then I think you guys got. I think Kill Mode got Raven Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a Canadian distributor.
Yeah.
So that's they're hard. I mean, they're starting to get their way. I mean, I do see a few Raven Banner films in the U.S., but at the time then it was very rare that you saw Raven Banner in any store here in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, actually, with Molly, we also got a Canadian sales agent, the Film Annex, but they immediately struck a deal with Art Exploitation, so that helped a lot. It really did. Yeah.
Do you know how bummed I was? Let me ask you this: Do you have a Blu-ray of Molly?
No, I don't. No.
That was like the first time I remember I was telling when I was contacting Theis and I was introducing myself and I was him and I were talking and I was sitting there going, yeah, this DV is all that and that's great special features and all that, and he goes, I didn't even get one.
No.
I can't tell you how freaking embarrassing I felt. I was like, and I actually wrote to Ray. Says, dude, what's up? You gotta send him some. You gotta send him some Blu-rays. I mean, I didn't understand that. I thought, well, hell, I thought that'd be the first thing that people would do: send you a box of like 50 Blu-rays of your old movie so you could keep it.
Yeah, well, I think we ordered some for ourselves, like on Amazon or something, but I gave them all away because I think people who worked with us deserve it more than the producer or the director. So
yeah, that's just you deserve it. You deserve a copy.
I do. I'll order one. Yeah.
I was looking for Kill Mode, and this just tells you the landscape of the physical media market. I was looking for a copy of Kill Mode, and as that was happening, and then we have I look at this as a good thing. I don't know how you'll see it, but I see it as a good thing, and I'll tell you why when I tell you the story. So I'm looking for a copy of Kill Mode, and I'm on a very tight budget myself. I'm very tight. So I'm looking for a affordable copy of Kill Mode, and then as I'm doing this, all of a sudden, there's a store over here called Dollar Tree, and all of a sudden, people started saying, they were going off. They sell movies for a dollar, and people were starting to show what they got from the different stores. And all of a sudden, I saw it. I saw Kill Mode, and like, wait a minute, where'd you get that at? Dollar Tree. You got that at the Dollar Tree. Now, not every Dollar Tree does the same movie. So, but it's out there, and half of me is like, okay, I know they got paid for this, and so I'm not, like, to me, it's like, oh, it sucks, but I know you guys got paid for that. But to me, what really was exciting was the fact that there's so many people out there that are going to discover you guys. That's really what I was happy about. I'm like, okay, they're gonna buy this movie, they're gonna fall in love with it just like I did, and then they're gonna tell their friends, and their friends are gonna tell their friends. I mean, how does it feel knowing that your movies are in America and they're beloved as they are, and yet in the Netherlands, maybe not so much?
No, it's actually very strange, and I do get uncomfortable with people if they ask, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a movie maker." "Oh, where can we see your movie?" And then I'm like, "Well, yeah, in America." And they're like, "Why aren't you famous or something like that?" No, like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah,
You just make movies, and then it's out there. So it's really weird to get like these posters from Japan or Sweden, and just do your own business over here. It doesn't really hit or something. No, we just did it.
do you think that I mean, are you hopeful for the future, Colinda? Are you hopeful that it will change maybe after the pandemic has ended and more people are start going to the theaters? I think the demand for movies and TV, I would think that it would be rising. People want to be entertained, they want to see something new. Do you think that as far as the film industry and the Netherlands, will it rise? Are you
Well,
hopeful, or do you see yourself having to like move maybe?
well, I think something really changed when we in 2015 won the contest. People from sales agent companies were saying to us, "You really need to do your movies in English. So find some actors who speak decent English and just shoot it." But now people are advising us, just do it in your own language. And I think streaming and like that you watch La Casa de Papel in Spanish and stuff, people in the English speaking countries are getting used to subtitles.
Hmm.
Um, and it will probably, that's something I find very interesting and helpful if we can do it in our own, because then you, in our own language, because then you don't have to, uh, uh, yeah, you can really find the actors that you like, and not, but some of them don't speak English. So, um, but I have to say, like Bailey, the little girl in Mali, didn't speak English as well. I taught her in the weeks up front. Yeah.
I guess I should ask you. Speaking of that, how did you end up meeting Julia? How did you meeting Julia?
Well, Julia was like 13 when she played a role in Magistratus. It was the feature-length movie Thijs and Chris graduated with. They made a feature movie for like $10,000, and it took them 2 years. And I was partly an art director on that. And then she was in like this Dutch television series, something like the Dutch Bold and the Beautiful. And they found Julia, and she was only 13 then, but we kept in touch, and we were just amazed by her acting capabilities. So we kept working with her.
Good move. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, good move, because she's just so, yeah, really dynamic. Um,
Mm.
I do hope, and there's another thing too. I wanted to bring into this conversation because you posted a lot of this on your Instagram, and I wanted to comment on it. Is that you're a very prolific artist? You are a very talented artist, and where did that come from?
Um, that's a really good question.
Hmm.
Um, well, I have this huge imagination, and I think it was a little bit uh, for survival when I was young, uh, and then it just became a strength. So in my youth, it wasn't always very good or very safe. So the safe place was my imagination, and that became a strength. So yeah, I think from that, and then you start doing in high school. I started having teachers that really liked my drawings, and then you get confidence, and then it just started. And I I don't know what it's called, but I just consume everything.
I'll grab that for you right now, Zena. For sure, I could do that. Let me drop this down here. I think you're gonna get some new friends here, Kalinda.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Hello.
Here you go. This is Kalinda's Instagram account. So if you want to follow her, please do. I highly recommend it. Very entertaining. Uh, um, what are you working on at this moment? I mean, what's being developed? Are you in the middle of developing anything? Uh,
Um,
are you
well, yeah,
helping?
yeah, I am. I won, or I was part of the European Genre Forum with a script called The Descendant. It's about a girl who travels to a Dutch village, and then she discovers that she's like part witch, or like her ancestor was a witch, and she has still those abilities. Though they awake those abilities, and then she has to take on like this big demon. Um, and with that script, I got entered into the European Genre Forum, and people were really excited about it. And then last year, I won another prize with the script. So it's a story that won't let go of me. We're actually talking now. Are we going to uh, make a movie of it, or are we first starting? Because were always also saying like the artwork was very good. So maybe start as a book, and then after that make a movie out of it. So that's where we're at. The script is there, and we're just thinking about the best way to go with it.
Who would you like to cast in your movie? Would you cast would you advertise at home, or would you make it into an international cast?
Well, the advice at first was do it in English, and then get an international name, um, because I wrote it that the lead actress was from America or England, and then travels to Europe or to the Netherlands, and then everybody else could just talk Dutch. Um, so that's something we are talking about, if that's the best way to go. Um, but we're still struggling to get finance, and so that's why we were talking to people, like maybe first make it into a book, sell that, and then start a movie after that. So we actually don't know yet.
Now, what would the name of the movie be? I mean, do you have a title for it?
Well, it's the working title is The Descendant.
The Descendant. Okay. Okay. Uh, hey, there he is. What's going on? So greetings, Cheetah, and your guest. We were discussing her new movie that she's got. Would you consider The Descendant to be in pre, or is it still on the drawing board? I mean, you got the script. I think
Yeah.
once you complete a script, doesn't that sort of like move into pre? I mean, because now you're ready to go. I mean, if you got financing, you're not going to have to worry about that. You're just going to go.
Yeah,
Are you?
no, we don't have financing yet. That's actually what we're discussing. Which way are we going to do this? Like it's this big arena, so it has a lot of potential to do it not only like a movie, but with other things as well, with side stories and every character. So it could be like a bigger project than that.
Okay.
And if we do it like that, then we'll probably get some from another government funding, some money. So that's what we're talking about. Which way should we go? Should we do a book first, and or maybe like an internet story or YouTube things, and then start from that, or just go into the movie and make that. So that's pre-production probably. Yeah.
Right. Right. Pre-production. I like that. I like the idea of doing the books too. I mean, that's one thing, over here. I mean, books they're still hanging tough. I mean, people still love their books and, they're still doing well. So it's good to see. I mean, we have a couple of big chain bookstores that have, they're like maybe like the last one standing, but it seems like they're holding their own and, people are finding them more and more. Books are extremely popular. So, would you consider The Descendant to be is it a dramatic film or a teen film, a young adult film, or a mystery? Or
I think you should consider it like if The Village and The Witch combined. So
okay,
it's more like that. Yeah, maybe The Wicker Man as well. Something that's the setting. So it's probably
but
a little bit older.
not the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man.
Not the Nicolas Cage. but the feel and the vibe and yeah, so it's probably a little bit older than young adult. They'll probably like it, but it's definitely for some older people.
So I'm excited for that. And when you start directing it, or right before you probably either right before you start directing, or maybe during the middle of it when you got a spare hour and a half, will you come back and give us an update about it?
Definitely. I'll keep you posted. But that's what I said. We just don't know the course yet of what's the best way. Because this story has been with me like for 3 years, and it won a couple of people are excited about it. So I need to do justice.
Right. Totally get that. I want to thank you, Colinda, for coming out and hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could keep going, but I know you got things to do, and I don't, but I'm gonna have you come back for damn sure. I waited for all this. I first got Molly in 2017, and I think you and I have known each other, talked to each other for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap! Isn't that something?
Yeah.
It's gone. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean,
it's not gonna be 4 years before you're back.
No, definitely not.
You that.
No, I love talking to you. It's fun. Yeah, thank you for being such a dear fan, and so I don't know, just sharing our stories is great. Thank you.
I tell people all the time. I tell that I've done close to 600 film reviews in my, I know people have done more, but for me, I've done 600 film reviews, and Molly is my second favorite movie I've ever reviewed.
Wow, thank you. Well, we had I can talk for hours, but we had so much fun, and I think that's something you can feel through the screen or something. It was
definitely.
So fun.
Definitely
doing that.
It's so fun. I was telling Theis, this is when you guys were doing that long final take, and then the fight scenes with Julia. I said, I can't tell you how many times I would sit there at the screen and say, set your feet, because Julia was always falling down, during her fight scenes. And it was just like, it was so cute, and at the same time, it's like you're talking to the TV. I'm talking to the screen and going, set your feet.
Yeah.
She just get up there, wipe out some bad guys, but then she fall on her bum, and it was just like, set your, it's almost like sweep the knee, Johnny. It's almost like that. Sweep the leg. And it was me,
Mhm.
it was like set your feet. But I had so much fun with that movie. I had
Good.
so much. She's so she's. I told her Theis, and I'll tell you that if she was here in America, she would be working all day, every day.
Yeah, I'll
She,
tell her then.
yeah, she would be. I mean,
Yeah.
she'd be in such demand. She's
Well,
just.
be on the lookout for, because Thijs is like, I think he's shooting this week or something, his new movie, and she's in it. So maybe you should talk to Thijs.
Yeah. I have to catch up with them. I didn't, because it has been a minute since because I know that because I check everybody's page to see what they're doing, and it's like there's really nothing out there per se. Like well, I already knew I was going to be talking to you regardless. I knew there'd be something cooking, and I was right about that. But sometimes because it's hard to know what people are doing. And I haven't talked to him for a while, so I mean, him and we do talk. Um,
mm,
and he hasn't, but like a lot of times he says, a lot of times there's a lot of times where we've had projects up and running at the last minute, nothing happens. So there's nothing to say, there's nothing to report, there's nothing to talk about. So it's like,
mhm.
it's almost like he's like, I am sure that now he's starting to shoot. Now I'm sure if I went over and said, "What's up?" I'm sure he'd start talking to me like, like no tomorrow. And I'll catch up with him. I definitely will.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I shared him the link to to our interview today. Um,
good.
yeah, of course, because you guys are good friends and produce. Are you producing his new movie? Are you
No,
helping produce it?
no, I'm
No.
actually doing my own stuff right now. I
Okay. So this is
had
the
some
first.
stuff.
Is
Yeah,
this going to be the first project you've done without each other?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, and I do get. I'm in contact with the producer, with his new producer. Uh, so I do get updates, and sometimes I just say what I think about the
Yeah.
stuff. But I really needed to do something of my own. Yeah, like what I told you, the Descendant just needs my full attention.
Okay. Let's see. Let me catch up on the chat here. Hi, Betty. How are you? Let's see. We're talking about great female directors. And Lakis is dropping great directors names. Yep. Wow, we got into this. Let's see. Sarah Paulson, she's a good performer. Sarah Polley is a good director. Sarah Polley went from being a actress to a director, and a good one. Of course, then you had Rosalind Zhao, who did Nomadland and the Eternals. Um, let's see. Let's see. That's a person. That's a person. Will he be practicing? Yes, yeah. She mentioned that. She mentioned about the COVID. Yeah, you guys still have to practice. You still have to practice. Safe sets. They still do have. They still have to do that here in America too. So yeah, and you said that you feel like there's going to be another wave coming. Now, is that something that you feel is coming, or is that something that is happening? A
Well,
new
we had like some, I don't know what it's called, but we had some more deaths in the last couple of weeks, and we are getting vaccinated again, and scientists over here are saying prepare, but it won't be that uh, that scary and that like I don't know.
like it was before.
Yeah, I don't believe it won't be like that,
But
but now
still,
we
you
have other problems,
still got
right?
to take precautions. Yeah, you still got to wear your mask. Still got to take the distancing.
Because now people over here, and it's probably over there as well, but people over here have to close their business because they can't pay their gas bills and their
No, yeah, they
thing.
can't. A lot of businesses can't stay open. They
No,
can't find. They can't find people to work.
no, that's also true. And like I know this baker who has like his energy bill got from $3,000 to $33,000.
Uh,
Yeah, you won't survive it. Not after 2 years of Corona. Nobody has like so much money on their account.
right. Yeah, that's just crazy. And these companies just don't take that into consideration. It's like, dude, like you were still open, but he wasn't. So give him a break.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
come
but
on.
the war in Ukraine and just takes its toll over here. It really does.
Yeah.
And for those people it's even worse. But yeah.
What's the atmosphere like over there in the Netherlands concerning that war? Are you guys a little nervous that it's going to come a little bit further? I mean, it's sort of surprising that it's basically Russia's gotten his ass kicked. It's a little surprising, that they
Mhm.
are.
Mhm.
It's like that's sort of scary. It's scary that that because that's when it happened. I was thinking, oh boy, but then they did get beat, and is that something is that everyday talk and like in the Netherlands about the war in Ukraine, or is this something that's just thunder in the background?
Well, it's becoming thunder, but we have like a lot of people, like a lot of refugees. Everybody, everywhere, like all the European countries struggle with that. People are sleeping outside on the street because we don't have enough homes or like places to put people. And so that's something that's going on. A lot of people are having Ukrainians in their homes. So if you have like a spare room, you'll have a family over there. A lot of people are doing that. So it's on the news, and it's not like in the beginning that everybody's still full of it and thinking that atom bombs will probably be dropping over here in Rotterdam or something. But it's still there. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of schools have a lot of refugees children on in their classrooms, and yeah, and it's all over Europe.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I just I don't understand. I thought about that too because I don't have a lot of friends in Europe now. Besides you and Thijs, I have a lot of friends. And over there, and I worry about all of you guys. Because it's like the energy bill's really high. The drought in Germany is it dried up the damn Rhine.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
who would ever thought that would ever happen? I
No,
never thought I'd see that in my lifetime, and yet
hmm
there it is. It's right up the damn river. I mean, what? I'm not sure if it's have you guys gotten any rain?
The last couple of days, the last 2 days, but then before that, weeks and weeks we didn't. I live near a river, and I haven't seen it this dry ever. It's insane. Yeah, yeah. So there's like problems coming from everywhere.
I told one of my friends in Great Britain. I said, "Are you buying water? Are you guys storing any water any place?" And he goes, "No." I says, "Man," I said, I would probably think about doing that.
Yeah.
The rest not being what it is, I would try to buy some as best you can. You
hmm
know,
Like
so
a water purificator, I think it's called in
yeah,
English. Yeah,
yeah,
so, yeah, we actually ordered one just to be sure. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Well, you know what? I'm just hoping that we can all go back to making art. That's really I'm hoping for. It's like tell Putin to go home and behave himself, and let's get back to living our
it's,
good lives.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go
that'll be
make
fun.
movies. Let's go make some movies. Let's go talk to some movie stars. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's keep on going. I mean, it also helps people like feeling safe and some normalcy, and uh, I think even culture and art are becoming even more.
More
Uh,
important.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree with you. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you guys out to the chat. I want to say thank you so much. Oh, let me see. A couple questions. What movies to watch first? Zena, watch Molly first. Actually, I mean, you could actually, Molly came out first, but you should watch Kill Mode first because Kill Mode is the prequel. So watch Kill Mode and then watch Molly.
Yeah, they're totally
Yep.
different, but
Yeah.
it's the story is the world. Yeah,
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 the story's different, but I definitely would watch Kill Mode first. And like I said, that should be out there at you should be able to find that on the secondary markets, eBay or Amazon or whatnot. You should be able to find copies of Kill Mode very easily. And Kill Mode is actually also on Tubi. and so is Molly. Molly is also on Tubi.
Oh,
It's a superb streaming service over here. It's awesome. It's awesome because there's a lot of movies that nobody don't get seen on the other streaming services,
mhm.
and they get seen on there. So it's a really cool place to
Oh, I
go.
would love that over here.
It's a very adventuresome place.
Mm.
Uh, yep. Let's see. Yes, let's see if I go up there. I missed you there, sir. Uh, she's not doing a fundraiser. What happens is you get subsidized by the government, right?
Yes.
Right. So they're trying to get subsidized by, yeah, it's not the same as over here where someone will do a GoFundMe and they'll try to raise money. It's better
Hmm.
to go through the government. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of European our countries do that. They subsidize their filmmakers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but it's also very narrow-minded. If I'm
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, aren't you? Don't you have to? Don't Doesn't your story have to fit within some of their guidelines?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the whole problem. Yeah,
you
or
can't go out
if
there and
you,
behead. You can't behead somebody on the government money.
no, no, then you're
Yeah,
in.
yeah. Here's my movie. We're gonna have Joe the butcher. He's gonna go around. He's gonna chop off heads, and then
Well,
I want you to I want you guys to give me $75,000 for that. The government's gonna go like, yeah, I don't think so. Um,
no, definitely, yeah.
so there you go. Thank you guys so much. We will be back next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we'll be back again, and we will be talking to our good friend, our new friend, Jay Gioni, and he has put a movie called It Snows All the Time," and that will be here on the 13th, Tuesday. On Wednesday, sees the return of the lovely Karen Klish. Will be back with us. She's one of our favorite friends, and she's kick ass too. She could play Molly's older sister. She's so
Oh,
bad
oh,
because
good
she's
to
so.
know. So
Um,
if we make a third one, then I'll have to remember her.
yes, I'll have to remind you. She's so badass. She did a series called Mutant X, and she's so badass. But
I love
she's
badass women,
beautiful.
so bring it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful, but she's so badass. She'll be here on the 14th. I have a special start time at 7 p.m. For that 7 p.m. start, and then next Thursday, the 15th, we will be welcoming Madame Genevieve, and I'm just going to leave that there because she's a very sharp lady, very intelligent, and we will be talking about a lot of different topics, actually. I caught her on another interview stream, and I said, we got to talk. So we are. And then later on in the month, we'll be talking to screenwriter Spider Dobrowski, and we'll be talking to actress and artist and puppeteer Tristan Risk, which is going to be fantastic. Everybody else, thank you guys so much. If if you haven't subbed to the channel, please consider giving us a sub. Hit the notification bell and leave a comment down below. Please leave a comment down below. That will be very, very helpful tonight for this stream to leave comments, and then we will see you. We'll see you next Tuesday. Colinda, stay right where you're at. Everybody else, thank you for coming, and share us out if you'd like to. Thanks so much. Good night.
Bye bye.
Stay right where you're at.
Yeah. Yes, boss.